welcome to Simon Nochanoma, Simon's Living Room. And I hope you've got your sake with you and your munchies. And I'm just going to bring up my two very special guests all the way from California who are already wetting their whistles. And so without further ado, let me introduce Meg from SakeTrend and ToddTheSakeMan. Hello, welcome.
Hello, Simon.
Hello, Simon.
And I'll just say a quick hello to our viewers. I'd like to say hello to J-Vlog in Japan, Alas in England, Not That Much in Germany, and Adalabati in Japan. And it's very late, very early. So thank you very much, Adalabati.
Thank you so
Anytime's
much.
good for
Thank you so much.
So, the theme of this week's show is Hanami and sake.
Yay!
And I went out specially and bought some cherry blossom. Some plastic cherry blossom.
Plastic. Mine's too plastic.
Oh, and me Dibble is there. Hello, Dibble. Sorry about the jazz. Because I'm just going to add it now. There we go.
Oh, nice.
Oh,
Lovely.
Very nice.
Yeah. Let's get us in the mood.
So,
Yeah, you're just moving the sake.
Yes.
these are two sake specialists all the way from California. And I'm going to quiz them about themselves and about sake. And you, at the end of the show, you will either know more about Hanami and sake than you did before, or you will be rolling on the floor laughing with the rest of us as we slide under the table.
Can it be both? It could be both.
It could be both. You could wake up next morning, think, oh yes, yeah. You know,
I do remember.
Junmai Daiginjo is made from Honjoyo, and what was the rest?
Oh, maybe wine. They're from grape.
Yeah.
So let's begin with the beginning, and let's just go to Meg. That's questions for Todd. I've just called up. I need to call up questions for Meg. Hang on, where is it? Documents. It's all very not music. No, it won't be in music. Documents. There we go. Why is it looking in there? Stop looking in there. Looking documents. Documents. There we go. Questions. I had these prepared for Meg. Let's have a look.
Okay.
Come on. What's it doing? Oh, yeah. Questions for Meg. Okay. Right, Meg. So let's just have explain what you do, where are you from, and what do you do?
What do I do? So I'm living in California right now. So I am the owner of SakeTrend.com. So we sell. So we are a boutique online store that's selling the imported Japanese sake in California. So yeah, so those sakes is kind of crafted and by hand and by like micro or small sake brewery in Japan. So the quantities are very limited, and some of the sake is really hard to get them in Japan either, too.
Oh, right.
So yeah, so that's what I have. So in SakeTrend is so the sake that I carry is like each sake brewery has like own unique like concept, and then like always have a story behind making sake. So I am fascinated by that, and I want to share to like individual consumers and sake lovers. So that's how I started SakeTrend.com.
I see. So my first sort of personal question related to that is when did you first discover sake yourself that made you want to do this? You took a drink and thought, wow, you know, this is what I've got to do, or Some people, namely the Sake sisters, did not start until quite late. But
I didn't like sake at all. I mean, I'm from Kagoshima, and I don't know if anybody knows about Kagoshima, but Kagoshima. So in Japan, there's 4 main island and 1 small island. So Kagoshima is in Kyushu, which is like west and south side of Japan. So and in Kyushu, especially in Kagoshima, we have volcanoes and hot springs and good water and beach and sea and so everything. So we have good shochu, like distilled alcohol. Rather than sake. So my mom drinking a lot of shochu every single night, and that's kind of part of our custom. So I never had any chance to drink sake. I mean, in Japan. Well, when I was young, and I had sake bomb, and it's like it wasn't.
Yes,
really,
the best quality.
They do sake bombs in Japan?
Yes.
No way. See, I learned something new every time. This is great. I didn't know. I thought that was a uniquely American thing.
Well, it's kind of like, like you drink, sake, like all the different kind of sake, and it's like in izakaya, they're all like, especially for like commercialized sake, it's always there in izakaya. So and then next day, I get hangover and headache. Like, oh, no more sake. I will stick with shochu or wine.
It was the sake's fault.
That is the sake's fault. That's
not the quantity.
Just college kids are the same everywhere.
So that's why I just, I love wine, and I love New Zealand wine, and I love shochu, and so for me, it's like good life for me with shochu and wine. But then when I came to United States with my family, so I happened to met the sake importer from Niigata. So he's based on Niigata, and he told me there's a sake. It's called 59 Takachiyo, and that's unpasteurized and namazake. And can you just try it? I said, I'm sorry, but I have to be honest because I don't really like sake, and I kind of hate sake because I had so much young age when I was young age, and like I had really bad experience with sake. He said, just try it, and then he said he's gonna give me for free. So I was like, free, great. So and then it's like sake, taste this Takachiyo. Oh, like. It's so good. It was like quite different. I mean, it's really different from anything that I drink. Like this is like opened my mind, like my eyes. So that's how I think. Okay, so this is great. And so I'm from Japan, and I wanted to do. So I'm living in a different country, and I wanted to have something to connect to Japan. And that is my so that's what I decided, and I wanted to help
to be an importer, also to be a distributor,
right, because in California we can't. I mean, yes, there's a lot of sake breweries and sake in the restaurant, but I don't get these kind of grade of sake much. And if you don't know anything about sake or even wine, right? So you don't wanna. I mean, I'm like, if you're gonna spend like $30 or $40, I wanna know good. I want a good quality.
Yes, you don't want nomu.
nomu, nomu. So if I'm gonna pay that, then I wanna have good sake, so wine. So that's how I started. So so for me, for mission is to SakeTrend. Oh, am I talking too long? Am I talking?
No. You just. When you get you've answered the first 3 questions already.
Excellent.
So
because I have so much passion of my for my SakeTrend, so that's why. Okay, so I have passion. So
that's how you got into it. Now let's get on to Todd. Questions for Todd. I've got these called up here. Right, basically the same sort of question for you, Todd. When was the first time you had sake?
Yeah. I had a very similar, I'm of Japanese heritage. My mother's Japanese, but I grew up in the United States. So, my upbringing was more very typical American and Midwestern and small towns. So I had no exposure of sake, and my mother didn't drink much at all. So, there was really no knowledge about sake. And when I had sake, it was, cheap, bad, hot sake, very indifferent. And so I was like, I kind of put it in this category of just cheap, indifferent beverages that are out there. And then I had a friend who was traveling a lot in Japan, and she was actually going to visit sake breweries and other places in different parts of Japan. And she brought a bottle of sake back and gave it to me and said, Todd, I know you're, at this point I was very much into like wine and craft beers, having gone to UC Berkeley and living in that environment. And I just sort of gravitated towards, good wines and craft beers. And she knew that. So she gave me this bottle and was like, Todd, you have to try this. And I had one sip and I was like, oh my God, this is amazing. What is this? And what have I tried before that I thought was sake? Because this is just not the same thing. Yeah. And it was really mind blowing. It's a Junmai Daiginjo. It's from Kyoto. It's like, kind of a big commercial Junmai Daiginjo, but at the same time, it's so different. So light, aromatic, more like a white wine. Had a lot of complexity to it. So I said, I have to know more about this. I have to know, how this is made and why does it taste so different? What are the things that make it taste different? So it kind of went down the rabbit hole of learning about sake and realizing that, this beverage has like, almost 2,000 years of history. There's a lot of craft breweries in Japan. There's something like 900 or 1,000 breweries in Japan that are doing, they vary from small to large. So you do have large breweries that, do more commercial or mass market products. And you have a lot of small breweries like 59 Takachiyo or Katafune or, that do like really sort of craft beverages that are a whole different nature.
This is the Katafune that Maggie's holding. Yeah.
Exactly. So Katafune. And there's real regionality with sake as well. Like sakes from Niigata will typically taste different from sakes from Hyogo or from Wakayama. In the same way that, wine from Napa Valley will taste different than Bordeaux or from, Burgundy. So there's real regionality with sake. Japan as a group of islands is very diverse in terms of climate. So this history and tradition has gone back a long time. But the bottom line is that there's just a lot of interesting craft breweries and the toji, who are the kind of sake makers, who have a lot of passion and a lot of diversity to how they express their beverage. And just like with wine or with beer, there's just a tremendous variety out there. So once you start tasting some of the better ones and developing your own taste and palate, that's where I think that there can be real magic, and you can find something that's absolutely complementary to your food, complementary to your lifestyle. I think sake has a lot of wonderful things. Like it's kind of lighter in flavor. It's not as heavy as with wine or with beers. So, you're in Belgium, Simon, I love the beers there, but they're very rich, they can be very heavy. And I think sake typically is kind of lighter. And so you can kind of drink it more as a kind of complementary beverage. And, once you get into it, you realize that it's really a very gentle, kind of easygoing beverage. It is about 15% alcohol, so it's kind of strong, but it's not distilled like spirit, and it can be very very diverse or very complex. I really appreciate that with sake, and that's why I've kind of gotten into the business myself. I sold sake for a number of years at a sushi bar and trained the staff on sake and did a lot of public tastings to consumers and people in the beverage industry about this incredible craft beverage. Been to Japan a number of times. I haven't been recently, unfortunately, because of
yes, it's difficult.
But, I'm hoping to cultivate that and get back to Japan. And try some more in the in Japan, since I think that while it's amazing to see craft sakes kind of span the globe, and in California we now have sake breweries, but Japan still has the most.
Go to the source. Yeah,
exactly. You got to get to the source. That's right.
And we shall now go to the source, because I'm getting thirsty. And I saw Meg already was like. But before we sort of drink again, let's explain each of us. I've got something called Honjoyo. Meg, which one are you drinking?
Right now, I'm drinking Honjoyo 2. This is Katafune. This is the IWC 3-times winner, Tokubetsu Honjoyo.
Okay, and what have you got, Todd?
Well, I've got that same one, but then I grabbed the Takachiyo because Meg was talking about it so much, so I have to try it. But this is a namazake, so it's an unpasteurized sake.
Yeah.
Let's yes for the audience, producing sake. The sake is sometimes pasteurized to stop microbes affecting the flavor.
It's fun to keep it sort of shelf stable, and they've actually been pasteurizing sake since before Louis Pasteur was, saw a microscope. So this is actually a very old technique to maintain the stability of the sake. But what that pasteurization does, and usually sakes are pasteurized 2 times. Once after it's finished brewing, and then they store it for a short period of time. And before they ship it, they'll usually pasteurize a second time. But these sakes have been shipped and stored unpasteurized, so not heat treated. And as a result, they just have much more sort of vibrancy and liveliness and flavor. And they're kind of a little spritzy or a little bit effervescent usually right when you open them. And they just have this bright personality to them.
I wasn't able to find one of those. I was looking for that, but couldn't find it
outside of Japan.
Yeah, I wish I could send you.
Well, I'll give you my address. There we go. Right. So here we go. Kanpai.
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 Kanpai, everyone.
Ooh, yes, that's nice.
It's nice.
Now I'm drinking mine at room temperature, and this is what it says in the guides, that generally speaking, there's various temperatures. I've got it somewhere on my phone. All the different temperatures, ranging from body temperature to lukewarm, which looks quite hot to me, lukewarm. But room temperatures is basically the basic temperature that you would drink it at, apart from Junmai Daiginjo, which you generally drink cooler.
Yeah, my general advice to people is for premium sakes to try them chilled first. And by chilled, I mean, maybe not right out of the refrigerator cold, or just basically like what you might consider a white wine temperature. In Fahrenheit, that's around 55 degrees, so you can convert that to Celsius. But
somebody in the audience, quickly convert that, please. I have no clue.
Did you say? What did you say? Sorry.
I said somebody in the audience, quickly convert that to centigrade.
55. So it's like around
and 32 minus 16 plus I can't remember.
If your fridge is really cold, basically if your fridge is really cold, then pull it out of the fridge like a little bit before.
It's like that's 5 degrees. Yeah. So
exactly.
For that,
not super cold. That's like a good starting point. But what's wonderful about sake is that it's very, very versatile. And you can have it at room temperature. There's a lot of sakes that are really good at that kind of lukewarm or room temperature. And there's a lot of sakes that are good colder or even warmer, so you just have to choose the right sake and your, proper mindset where you want to be. In California and San Francisco, where we're at, it's always cold. So warm sake is, I think, always a good thing. But in other places, if you're in the summer, you may not want hot sake. If you're, in an onsen in Japan and the snow's piled up around you, and that might be just beautiful. So you got to choose the right temperature and the right setting, I think. And for Hanami, I was thinking,
Yes.
you know, picnic, you're going to be outside. It would be nice to have some chilled sake.
Yes.
That's a good starting point, I think. So,
Well, I've got my chilled sake is actually in the fridge. I've got some sparkling sake, which I may be getting shortly.
Nice.
Interesting.
And I see that UFO Bob is here. UFO Bob is from your neck of the woods. He introduced me to the Sake sisters, actually. So
nice.
and he prefers his sake shaken, not stirred. He says.
Is he also James Bond?
I think it's more like Q.
Oh, okay. Excellent. Well, cheers. Kanpai.
Cheers. I've just polished off my a little bit of Honjoyo. I've realised that now that I've bought all this sake, and it says when opened, use up quite quickly. So I shall
Well,
I think that's debatable, of course.
Yeah.
But they will tell you that because they want you to drink it fast.
Yeah.
yeah. Well, I have 20 or 30
20 bottles.
in my
You
my house
said that
all
was
the
just enough for an hour.
time. Just for an hour. Yeah.
Oh my god. Right.
Good for you.
But some bottle,
Well,
I
I think
actually.
I was going to mention that this is one of the nice things that I found about sake as compared to wine. Like I really came at this from being a wine aficionado and a wine, from a wine background where, if you open a bottle of wine, you've got a couple of days and then, you have to use it. With sake, it's actually much more forgiving. Whereas if you have a bottle open, you can keep it in the refrigerator and that will definitely lengthen the time. But even out at room temperature, as long as it's out of the sun and out of the real extreme heat, I think sake is pretty forgiving and will stay good for a week or 2 weeks even. No problem.
Oh, that's good.
Yeah,
Yeah.
it's actually it's fun to wait a little bit because the some of the sake like taste maybe like getting mellow, and then it's fun to taste it like every single day. And actually, I had some sake and for 2 years, and I try it. And then it still was good. So that the good quality sake, it stays good. So as long as you put in the fridge, and it's the sake. Some people says you can store like wine, like at the room temperature, but it's sake is better to always store in the cold fridge.
Yeah,
I think this is what I got from a friend in Nagoya who was in Tokyo, and he bought it for me, and it's now about 5 years old. There's a little bit left in the bottom. All right.
That's
try
good.
it.
Yeah, try
could
it.
be really interesting, and
Yeah.
and it won't kill you.
Yeah, it won't kill you. Yeah, you might be passed out, but it won't kill you by drinking too much.
Me Dibble from England is saying, I like awamori. He knows it's not sake, but he's made with rice.
Yeah,
It is.
I love
Okinawa.
awamori too. Yes,
Awamori.
Awamori, I love it.
I know. I
awamori.
recently was hearing someone tell me, and maybe our viewer can say if they've tried this, is awamori and coffee. And I thought, wow, that sounds good. But I have never tried it.
Is it like a liqueur?
It's a spirit, so it is distilled, and it's from rice, but it's made in Okinawa, and it's kind of aged, and it's not maybe it can be quite strong.
It is.
depends.
Yeah, I love it. It's like I put in the grass, like the brandy grass, and then I put it in the some ice cube in it, and then put it into the hot spring, like when I was in Kagoshima, and then it's drinking. It's so good.
Oh, nice.
Yeah, I love
Nice.
awamori. I can't get the awamori much here, so
Yeah, it's even harder to find than shochu, I think.
yeah, I think so. Yeah, the shochu license is really difficult to get, so maybe that's why it's like a lot of the commercialized or big, the company has a license. So I was trying to get the shochu license in California, but it's too expensive.
Really? Yeah. It's kind of interesting because I know that there are sort of differences with how those spirits are treated here in California. In America, we just have such strange and messed up laws regarding alcohol, since we never really resolved issues after prohibition. Basically, that was kind of our fundamental problem. But California has very strange things about what you can import and what you can sell. So, but awamori, I find it's probably a little bit the difficulty of the license, but also the difficulty of explaining this drink. It's still, but it's not like brandy. It's not like
it's not hooch, honest.
Yeah. So, but when people try it, just like with sake, when they try it, they're like, "Wow, this is really interesting and delicious."
Yeah.
I've never been to Okinawa, but I'm sure I would love it since.
It's like
really
Hawaii.
Exactly.
It's beautiful. But sake, the shochu aomori.
Yeah.
So, what would it's now Hanami? We're having a Hanami party.
Oh, that's right.
And I'm just looking at my Edo Genroku, and I'm thinking at Hanami party we need to eat.
Yes.
So we're going to eat, audience. Excuse us. We're going to eat and have associated sake with it. So I'm going to open something I got specially. I got lots of sake specially, but I got this one, which I think is quite nice. It appeared in the advert. This is an Edo Genroku, and it's old style sake, aged in oak barrels, and it's like sherry. So I'm going to have a sherry, and I've got some Stilton cheese to go with it. And chocolate, because apparently chocolate is nice.
That should be good. Yeah, that should be good.
Blue cheese with Edo Genroku sake. Yeah, that's like an interesting flavor match right there.
What are you guys gonna have?
I am. Let me see. So, do you wanna go first, Todd, or can I?
Sure, I'm gonna go to Katafune. The Takachiyo is beautiful, very aromatic and lively, fruity. But this Katafune will be something a little bit more deep and a little bit more soulful. This is a Junmai Ginjo Genshu. So I was explaining before that there's 8 grades of premium sake. So in Japanese sake, there's a category of sake called futsushu, which is ordinary sake, and that's probably like 70% of all sakes out there are futsushu. And then there's Tokute Meishoshu, which is premium sake. And in that premium sake category, there's 8 different grades within that. And this is sort of in the middle of that, Junmai Ginjo. There's also Daiginjo.
Daiginjo,
Junmai Daiginjo is the very top. But then this one is kind of a step below that, Junmai Ginjo. And what these grades largely have to do with is milling the rice. How much do you mill the rice at the very beginning of the process? Sake is an alcoholic beverage brewed from rice, but sometimes they add a little bit of brewer's alcohol to the sake, and sometimes not. And if they don't, if it's just pure rice, then it's called Junmai or Junmai Ginjo or Junmai Daiginjo, depending on how much they mill the rice. So those kind of premium, super premium sakes, Junmai Ginjo, Junmai Daiginjo, have to be at least 40% milled away for the Ginjo and at least 50% milled away for the Daiginjo. And so those premium sakes are more expensive. They're usually
because of
a little bit
the
lighter.
longer process.
But the process is more expensive. They usually use premium rice to brew with as well. So a lot of times they'll use, very premium rice that costs a lot more. So these categories of sake, as a result, they have to be more expensive. Anyway, so Katafune, this Junmai Ginjo sake is also undiluted, so it's Genshu, and it should be very sort of flavorful as a result. So I'm going to enjoy this one. I think I will use sort of my glass ochoko that I will...
nice.
Yeah. And that's one thing about sake. You can use a lot of different vessels to drink out of. I was using a wine glass earlier, but certainly in Japan you get sort of glass vessels like this, or little ceramic vessels like this. And
I've had them from that. Yeah.
My only problem with these is they're very small.
Small.
So, but the reason why they're small is so that you can help pour for each other, because normally
That's right. That's the way. We can't really do that here, but I've done that with my best friend in Tokyo, and she showed me how to do it. We sort of crossed arms and tipped.
Exactly. So it's very good to pour for each other. So
right. Well, I should pour for myself, and mine is oak aged, and it should be a slightly different. It is. Oh yes, it's brown.
Oh, nice.
I don't know whether you can see that. It's quite. It doesn't look like sake.
Yeah.
Okay, let me open the Aiippon, Goku Takachiyo, 59 Takachiyo.
And what type is that?
This is unpasteurized, and also this is the Takachiyo sake.
Mm-hmm.
I think
so
the
this is
difference
unpasteurized.
is the rice, if I'm not mistaken. I think everything else is pretty much the same. Oh, beautiful.
I'm using this okchoko. This is the artist from Sendai made this okchoko. This is made out of copper, and Oshinsha, he gave me this sake.
Nice.
And Takachiyo is actually use 3 ons, unpasteurized and undiluted and unfiltered. So it's a 3 big ons in sake industry. So
there's bits in it.
Bits in it, yes, bits in it. That's right. Okay, you want to say kanpai?
Kanpai.
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 This smells delicious.
Let me use my hands.
Oh wow, that is like sherry.
Is it like sherry?
Has a very sherry type kind of, maybe it's from the oak barrels. And now I'm going to try the blue cheese with it.
Yeah.
I'd be really curious to know what sort of oak barrels they're talking about, or because I mean they do have oak in Japan, but it's very very expensive, and in the past they have used wooden barrels to sort of store sake. That's why you get things like taru sake, which is like cedar cask flavored or aged sakes. But normally now sake is made in large sort of enamel-lined steel or stainless steel casks, if you will. So it's sort of a throwback method for sure, but
it's very nice.
Nice.
This one, I'm drinking this 59 Takachiyo Aiippon. I don't know. This is a black bottle, so you probably can't see it. But if you see the clear bottle, you see the white sake leaves in there. Maybe I don't know. Maybe if you can see it, it's not. It's like a nigori.
Yes, it's sort of like cloudy.
It's cloudy. Yes, it is cloudy. And then people likes it because, like Todd said, it's fun. And then like when you pour in the grass, it's like a paradise in the grass. So it's really lively and fun. And so if you have a beach close to your house or water or lake, and raise a glass and then the bottle, that would be really fun.
Oh, cool.
Yeah, I think for those people who are also, maybe more natural wine people, then the sake is be good because it's less manipulation with the sake. Sake is very much like a crafted beverage, as opposed to wine, which tends to, people try to allow the wine to kind of make itself, whereas sake brewers are much more controlling with their environment. They have to be very kind of on top of all the different things that might go wrong. So
yes, because I'll be showing those slides later. But in the process, there's like three stages of brewing, and you have to have 1 6, 2 6, 3 6.
Yeah, it's amazing how they figured out this process without really having the benefit of modern science and modern techniques. But it's kind of amazing to think about sake throughout most of its history. The people didn't really understand how it was made. They just understood, like, if you follow
The
these
effects.
steps, you can achieve something delicious.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You know, they didn't really understand how it was being made on a, microorganism level. But this sake is definitely a beautiful crafted beverage, but at the same time, it kind of allows more flavor to express itself. There's a lot of sakes, especially I would say in Niigata, that the goal is really to kind of lighten or remove any flavors, remove anything that might affect the clarity. And of course, if you do that, you're going to sacrifice flavor and character
And depth.
so
Yeah.
I appreciate sakes like the Takachiyo that just let the personality come out.
Yeah, it is very diva. I call diva sake 59 Takachiyo because it's like lively and it's young. It feels young, and then it's just fun.
Yeah, really fresh.
Just an answer to UFO Bob is asking, how is this particular sake with the cheese? It is absolutely delicious, and I'm now going to try dark chocolate with it. This is dark chocolate called Original Happiness, made in Belgium. And it's 75% dark cocoa. It's fruity and pleasantly bitter, with a fresh, sour character and sweet touches. It's chocolate. So I'm going to try it with my sherry-styled... I bet you're all jealous in the audience now, because you haven't got this.
I'm jealous.
Okay.
Yeah.
Belgian chocolate. And amber-coloured traditional style sake.
Man, that's good.
And I get the cheese too.
Hello, Christian. Ooh, that's quite different from with the cheese, but it works. It wouldn't go with the Honjoyo, or
Yeah. No.
I'm not quite sure what I'm going to have with the sparkling sake
yeah.
later.
I don't think. Yeah, I think it's chocolate. It's better to have with sherry or Kimoto method, or more like rich and berry sake, rather than crisp light sake. Yeah.
Exactly.
I think so, definitely.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think those kind of lighter flavors, or some more subtle flavors, are probably good with more, fish or other things.
Yes, Japanese. Japanese style. But these, I think the sherry or even like the Katafune, this is not crisp. This is more mellow, rich, berry, medium fruit body sake. So this goes really well with meat and steaks. And like the fried chickens and like those food.
Yeah, but people often ask like what things pair well with sake, like outside of maybe Japanese food, and I always say that it's very similar to wine, that the balance of sweetness and acidity kind of will help guide you to what is good with what it pairs well with. And I find that, things that are very high in acidity, tend to be good with richer foods, with oilier foods. And then, things that are a little bit lighter in flavor or aroma, a little softer, they might pair well with maybe even spicier foods.
So right now,
I'm getting asked by the audience from England, what fruit would go well with sake?
So that's a very good question, actually. Yeah, all the question is great. So it really depends on sake, because sake has a lot of different flavors. So for me, so it's really depend on sake, and then but for example, I drink Kimoto sake. So this sake is really goes well prosciutto with melon. And so if you go to the sweet sake, so this is the Katafune 13. It's actually this small bottle is a tasting bottle. It's a 5 set of tasting bottle, but so they have a different flavor. But this sake is So it is sweet. It's there's a barometer. It's called SMB, the sake meter value or barometer. So that's minus 50. But then we have acidity to it. So it's not too. It's sweet, but it's like acidity cuts.
Yes, it's not like sweet wine.
Yeah, not sweet wine. But then this goes with the chocolate. This goes with pear. And I tried pear. It's great. And then also mango. It's good. And also strawberry. It's good.
Oh, there you go. Somebody says yes. Dibble saying strawberries with sparkling sake.
That's good. That's cute. That's very nice. Yes.
Yeah.
So not that much in Germany is saying what sake goes with pizza.
Pizza is actually cheese made out of the cheese. So it goes with like Katafune Honjoyo. Katafune, and then also even futsushu, right? So Todd. So I think
definitely, I'd say that a little bit higher acidity is good, and not quite so aromatic for pizza. Yeah. I love pizza, especially that combination of the cheese and maybe even a little bit of light tomato sauce, or it's a nice combination. Breads I think go nicely with sake too. But again, I think think about the aromatic components and what that's about when you're trying to match it with a fruit or a cheese, because I think that some of those like very aromatic styles might clash a little bit.
Yes.
But fruits, I'd say it's great with apples and melons.
Right.
Persimmons, I think, is a really good combination.
Yeah. So so this is interesting because I just want to bring that because so I have today, so I send you taught the Katafune, and then also I send the Katafune, so I send also the 59 Takachiyo. So both are quite different. That's the way they make. So it's the Katafune has a subtle aroma, so it doesn't have aromatic aroma. That's because Toji is actually I connected with Toji, Mr. Takeda. He came to my other sake tasting event, but so he told us that he's making the concept of making sake is to create the sake to best pairing food. So he doesn't want to have he's using koshi ibuki, which is it is a local rice, but doesn't have so much aroma to it. So that doesn't destroy or interfere with the food aroma.
Yes. So one is not too strong. Yeah.
Yes. So and then it's fun because it goes well with the different dishes, especially for the meat dish. So it kind of like when you're having the meat or dish, this sake tastes different. It's like the impression changes. So that's why it is interesting. And so the sake, overall, it's really, it's better to try. The more you try, the more you.
This sounds like a good idea.
It's like boyfriend and girlfriend, right? If you want to get boyfriend and girlfriend,
the more you try.
You try.
Yeah. I'll ask my wife if she agrees with that.
Yes, we're not advocating anything here on Simon Nochanoma. No. I'd like, just quickly, Coco from the Sake Sisters is in the audience. Hello, Coco.
Nice. Hello.
And not that much from Germany. Wants to know what the sake, the SMV. What does that mean? Sake something value.
Sake meter value. Mm-hmm. Yeah. If I can explain that a little bit, it's basically it's an indication of how dry or how sweet the sake is, and it's supposed to encapsulate in one number how sweet or how dry the sake is.
Right.
But the unfortunate thing is it's a little bit unclear. Essentially, with sake meter value, it goes from about maybe plus 10 or so to like negative 50 or so, and most sakes will kind of center around 0 to plus 2. And so a higher positive number indicates drier. So a plus 10 sake is going to be perceived as drier than a minus 20 sake.
Yeah, minus 20. Usually it's like we see like minus single digit. So
plus 2 or a plus 4 is probably right on the balance of like sweet or dry. Like plus 2 is about
See?
normal.
Here, I don't know.
Where do you see
Or
that on the
slides.
bottle?
Yeah.
Where would
It's in the back of the label, but this one is a tasting bottle. So if you see it here, it says -50 here. So it's and then but acidity is 0.4. It's quite high. So it's and then usually it's like this is
I can't read it. It's all in Japanese.
Yeah, a lot of times they don't tell you what the sake meter value is,
right?
or Nihon Shudo in Japanese. You know, it's not universally accepted. And then sometimes they add things like the acidity. I think the acidity number is often quite interesting. They sometimes give a total acidity number, and then they also give a amino acid number. So you can kind of see a lot of sakes are very high in amino acid, and that amino acid content really makes it a good pairing, especially with cheese. And I wouldn't be surprised if that Edo Genroku sake has a lot of amino acid in it.
There's lots of numbers here, surrounded by kanji, which and I can see something 100%. I'm not quite sure.
Or maybe alcohol. Maybe alcohol.
No, that's probably pure rice. I'm guessing that's probably like Junmai sake then.
Yeah. Let's see here.
I might now. I'm feeling in need of something fresh now, something light and fresh, because you've had light and fresh, and I've just had heavy, and it's Hanami, and we're supposed to be outside, but it's here. It's dark here, picnicking. So I'm going to go to the kitchen and get my sparkling sake.
Nice.
And I shall
hold down the fort, Simon.
Yeah, you hold down the fort. I've got some slides I can show. Hang on. I'll put the slides up, and I don't know whether they'll go automatically. There we go.
I have a lot of slides though. So I thought that I'm gonna pick up like kind of like 2 or 3 slides.
I'll leave you. You can explain to the audience what's going on.
Okay.
Yeah. Most people start. They don't even know, what sake is made of, or how is it made. I think a lot of people get confused because they see a small cup like this and they assume it must be very strong spirit.
I didn't even know. I didn't know. Sake, made of rice, but
exactly. So sake is a fermented beverage brewed from rice. It's made from rice, water, and then the microorganisms which help make sake, which are in this case yeast, and it's the same kind of yeast that is used for beer or wine, Saccharomyces, and koji, which is a unique product or a unique microorganism that in Japan and in Asia makes miso, it makes soy sauce. It is a cultured mold that saccharifies the rice. So it converts the rice into sugar. So in the fermentation process, you really are getting 2 cultures kind of growing and working together to kind of create, to go from rice, which is mostly pure starch, and then into sugar, and then into alcohol and CO2 on the back end. So in that process, you have to build both cultures, and that's where it gets very complicated. But really, you start with rice. You have to mill the rice, so remove the outer part of the rice. I'll kind of show a little bit here. This will be kind of interesting. These are brown rice grains, as well as milled white rice. And the milled white rice is Daiginjo grade. So it's been milled 50%. So you can see in here that you have the brown rice or unmilled rice. And then after the milling process, and that milling process might take days to get to Daiginjo level. It definitely takes hours at least. So it goes through this very expensive milling process to remove just the outer part and make sure that the grains don't get cracked or split. And then after that milling process, you can store it, soak it, steam it, and then add your microorganisms to kind of build the fermentation. So essentially it's rice, water, yeast, koji, in a very kind of simplified manner. And then also at the end, you have to press it, and you might add brewer's alcohol to kind of lighten the flavor. And those are the non-Junmai sakes. Again, you've got Junmai sakes, pure rice, and you've got non-Junmai sakes, had a little bit of brewer's alcohol. And those Daiginjo sakes, those Ginjo sakes, Honjoyo, can be very kind of light, clean, aromatic.
That's what I found. Yeah.
Yeah, that's basically sake overview, I would say.
Yeah.
But yeah.
Okay, I'm going to pop the slides back on if I can. How do I do that?
Okay.
Do that. Oh no, hang on. No. No. I don't know how to do it. How did I do it? I can't remember how I did it. What did I do? No, I don't want to remove it. I'll go full screen.
You can
hear us. Yes.
Sure.
Well, this is like the cups we were talking about before.
Picture here.
Yeah.
So this is ochoko and masu cup. So it's depends on like the cup. I mean, like it depends on the sake that you have. So if the sake is more aromatic, it's the wine glass is the best because you want to have fun and the smell, enjoy with the aroma and the taste. But if the crisp light, like tanrei karakuchi, the Niigata's typical sake is called tanrei karakuchi. It's a crisp, light, and crisp light sake. Those sake can go ochoko or a little glass. And then if you see, I don't remember if you see that there's a ochoko cup with the
circles, yeah.
The circle. So that's actually to see the clarity of sake. So usually like it's sake masters or sake kura from sake bureau to see it, how the sake is clear. Yes, that's right. Yes.
That's right. Yes.
That's the one.
Yeah. That's a testing.
Sekai Ochoko.
So when you're looking at the sake in that cup, if you see the circles clearly and well defined, that shows the clarity of the sake.
Exactly.
And if the circles look blurry, that means you've had too much.
Had too much.
Too much. Yeah.
Or you haven't had enough. Keep drinking. That's right.
That's right. Yes, that's right.
Oh.
No, I think that there's a lot of similarities to, or people get a little nervous about how they should serve a sake, and there's really not that many wrong answers as far as these things go. But what I love is that the vessels themselves really tell a story about the people that make and appreciate the sake. There's so many beautiful styles of ceramics in Japan, and there's so many different ways. Like this ochoko that you have, Meg, is beautiful, and I love those metal.
It's almost like they use those kind of things at Japanese weddings as well, don't they, for the exchange of vows? Yeah,
3 times.
Yeah,
it's vow to Japanese god. Yeah, that's what I did. Yes.
Yeah, so it's lovely to see all the different kinds and styles that are out there. So I think that you can't really go wrong.
Yeah.
And if all you have is a wine glass, well, a wine glass is very good because you get to concentrate the aromas, and I think it's a very good vessel for appreciating those premium sakes. So
it's so there's a lot of sake out there, and you just want to try it and see what you like, and then it's the mind is important. Like when you have fun, just go for it, and then just try to set in the mood and try explore the food, the best pairing food by yourself. But for us, like I want to help others. So whatever we experience, we want to just to put the word for it to which one is good, which one is it goes well. So all the sake it's fun, and hope everybody will enjoy it. Alcohol, so you should enjoy, right?
Well, speaking of fun and enjoying alcohol, I've got this from the fridge. I better pour it before it gets warm, because this is actually quite appropriate. This is Sakura Masamune, sparkling sake, dry sake, futsushu. It probably says what it's made on the basis of, but it's all in Japanese, so I can't read it. But let's open it. It's supposed to be sparkling. I presume naturally sparkling.
I'm gonna
Right.
try
Let's
59
pour a little bit.
Takachiyo again. Very aromatic. Oh, I think Simon is frozen.
I think right at that crucial moment where he was.
Well, it looks nice though. It's about to pour.
I know.
Yeah.
We're waiting in anticipation.
Yeah, anticipation.
Oh, wait, we disappeared again.
Yeah, you were frozen at the moment.
I was
of your
frozen.
pouring the
It's
sake.
it's my computer. I think it doesn't like me drinking too much sake. Let's have a look.
It's like, you're not going to pour me some? Come on. I'm going to get my warm sake going, since I think
It's
I'd
nice.
like to be able to talk about that.
Yeah.
Yes, I mean we were talking about that before. Warm sake that you could do it with the microwave. I learned, but I've since learned from my two experts here that the microwave may cause the flavors to be destroyed. So
It does destroy the flavor, but
I think somewhat controversial, but my take on it is that, whatever you have that helps you achieve sake bliss is a fine thing. But of course, the traditional way to heat sake would be in a hot water bath in something called a tokuri. So you put the sake that you want to warm inside a tokuri, and then you might put it in a water bath. I usually use a pot and put it inside the pot, fill this with hot water, and then wait maybe about 3 minutes or so, 2.5 minutes. Depends how hot you want it, how much liquid is in here. And so what I use to help me get to that point is
an egg timer. No. No, what's that?
a thermometer.
Oh wow, it's
So, and I only did this maybe the first few times that I was heating up sake, and I used it a little bit when I was heating sake professionally. But after the first few times, and you kind of figure out how long it takes, you can ditch this. But the first time around, I think it helps, because then you know exactly how long. So what I do is I want it to be, you'll see my room temperature is, and I use that Fahrenheit scale again. Sorry for non-Americans.
That's around 15, 20, 18. I don't know, 15 or 18.
So what I typically shoot for is, around 105 degrees or 110 for Nurukan, for warm sake. Or if you want it to be hotter, maybe more like 120 degrees Fahrenheit. You don't.
You could sit in your jacuzzi with it, as suggested by a lass from England.
Yeah, that's right.
So
yeah.
Just take your bottles in with you, alas. I'm just imagining now, alas, in her jacuzzi with a bottle of sake.
Yeah.
Well, actually, these sake is a small microbrewery, so not the commercialized one, but then those small sake brewery, they do that kind of stuff. I mean, it's like when you do the pasteurized sake, they put in a hot water, and then the degree is a 70 degree. So they put in a like really hot bath. Like we can't really put it in there, but so those are the one they do in the bottle like this. How's it?
Oh, we've got Nosha Broad in the audience. Nosha Broad, also from San Francisco. So hello, you've got a fellow. Whatever San Francisco people call each other, San Franciscoite.
Hello, San Francisco.
San Francisco.
Thank you so much.
San Franciscos. This is delicious. This is completely different to the Genroku and the Honjoyo. This is dry. It's not sweet at all, and sparkling.
Is it fun?
Oh yes, I'm going to have a yuzu bowl with this. I've got my yuzu balls. Anyway, you can't really see them. They're sort of like soya wrapped in a yuzu
I have here. I have some olives with unpasteurized sake, and I have cheese here. Now try it.
Oh, that's different.
It's just fun to discover a different flavor and which one goes to which one.
Yeah, and I always think it's a good idea to just experiment because you never know what is going to be amazing. Like
That
I was
gives me
going
an
to say
excuse to
about
have another
these
piece of
Takachiyo
cheese.
sake is that these are
Go
not.
for it.
Well, this is not something I would usually warm up because this namazake and probably not. But I will definitely try it. I've got space in my hot water bath for 2 tokuri, so I'm going to try it and see how it is because you never know.
Yeah, it's in like the March edition of the Danchu. Danchu call is like a food wine, like food sake magazine. It's in Japan. That's very popular. I think in the March edition they had some feature about the unpasteurized sake to warm it about. But they was the professional person, the professional sake professional was doing it. So I definitely want to try and see, but. Definitely, usually unpasteurized sake like this, it's good to be drink with chill. And then this one as well. This
Coco is saying she loves namazake, and
yes.
Not that much. She's asking.
I know.
If you and Todd have ever tried Phil Harper's sake and what they think of it, if you have. I have no idea.
Harper. He is an amazing character, definitely. I don't know if you've ever met Philip, but he's a sake brewer from England, and he's lived in Japan for 30 years or so, I guess. And he's a sake brewer I think in Kyoto. Tamagawa is the name of the brewery he's currently at. And his sakes are very interesting. He is kind of a bit eccentric, but he is one of the more sort of traditional guys in working in Japanese sake. And there's very few, or maybe he might be the only Western toji. I don't know. He's among a very small group of Western toji working in Japanese sake. But if you get a chance to try that Tamagawa sake, it's kind of mind blowing. I mean, he has one that's like Nama Genshu, Muroka Nama Genshu, which is like unpasteurized, undiluted, and very full flavored. And
this one too, Muroka Nama Genshu.
Muroka Nama Genshu. Yeah.
It's a Muroka Nama Genshu. Yeah. So
I can see it's slightly cloudy.
Yeah, it's slightly cloudy. Yeah.
Yeah, and he's written a couple books too, so they're definitely worth seeking out on whatever library or wherever you get books. But yeah, his books on sake are very interesting and comprehensive too. He talks about everything in the sake world. So yeah, his sakes are great.
Yeah, I discovered recently that in Toyama, I think there's the former winemaker. It's was it PL? From the Dom Perignon.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, he has sake brewery in Toyama too, right? So he quit the Dom Perignon and then he just opened up the sake brewery in Toyama. I think 3 years ago. It's a sake. It's called IMA. It's really expensive bottle. Yeah,
that's something about sake that I've noticed.
But how much that much it's sake is interesting. So it's a really like a lot of a combination between the koji and yeast and water and toji, how they make how they process making. So it's a lot out there, and it's just fun to discover. It's like a life.
Well, I've got another time, doing it or learning about it, and just scratch the surface. So it's kind of cool. It's an ever expanding universe, really.
Yeah.
Well, I've got a slightly more expanding universe in the fridge still. I've got a nigori. I've got a nigori, which is it's my only cloudy sake that I was able to find. I wasn't able to find namazake, so I'm going to go and get my nigori. Hang on.
I want to. Oh yeah, I will drink with Ambassador sake with you. Good, you're close to the you two close to the fridge. I'm on the second floor, so I have to have all my photo here. So let me drink with this.
Oh, I just knocked my microphone around. Oh, there we go.
Did you find the microphone?
Yes. All right.
So
there's my
your
nigori.
Simon,
It looks like
from?
milk, basically.
Wow. Is it which sake is that?
It's Takara Shuzo.
Okay.
Sho Chikobai Nigori Junmai. I
Where's
can't remember.
it
I
produced?
have a
Is
list.
it Japan or
I looked up
California?
all the
I
breweries.
think
I looked up all the breweries.
Japan. It's a Takara. Or maybe the Takara has
Namazake, yeah.
some.
That's what I'm
some rice.
asking.
Yeah.
Is
Okay.
it Takara
That's right.
in California or is it Takara in?
No, it's in Japan. Takara Shuzo, Junmai Ginjo, Takara Shuzo in Kyoto.
Okay. Nice.
A Junmai Nigori. So I'm going to try this. I'm not quite sure what to expect.
Yeah, that'll be fun. It's a party in your cup.
Oh, it's white. Look at that.
Sure.
Wow, it's like a milk.
It looks like amazake. Never mind namazake.
Yeah, amazake. Yes.
But it has a certain alcohol percentage. You can't see somewhere. But let's see. This is nigori. I'm not quite sure why it's called nigori. I did read that up, but
Yeah, it is.
Yeah, nigori are a lot of people call them unfiltered sakes, but I think that would be slightly incorrect. I think that the more proper way of saying it would be that it's partially filtered, or they might filter it and then add back in the sake lees to kind of achieve consistent or uniform kind of density to it. So sake has to be filtered by law, actually. Seishu is one of the things that makes it seishu and legally defined sake is you have to filter it. So you might ask, well, if you have to filter it, how do you have nigori, which is seishu, but it looks like it's unfiltered? Well, that's how they do it, is they have large holes in the filter and then they partially filter it. So it's filtered just with large holes.
Yeah, in the United States.
I'm glad they do it. It has it's sort of the calpis of.
Exactly. Yeah. It might have like a creamy or yogurty aspect to it. It might be a little bit sweeter. With a Takara one, it's almost certainly sweeter.
Yes, it's very pleasant. It's completely unlike the other three.
It'd be very refreshing, right? And like cold and a hot day by the pool. That's like delicious. Yeah,
I would recommend nigori if you want sort of. Yes, it does look a bit like uzu.
Maybe, because it's that cloudy appearance. And some nigori are richer than others. There's nigori out there that are very rich, and there's nigori that are called usu nigori, which is very lightly cloudy. So it might just seem like the appearance of snow or the appearance of like, kind of a light haze to it. So you get nigori at kind of different levels. Also, ones that are sweeter or ones that are dry. I mean, I'd say that the ones in the United States that you see most commonly are shochikubai nigori, and they're pretty sweet. But they don't have to. This is
quite sweet. Yeah.
Yeah, they come in sweet or dry. So
yeah. So this one it doesn't call nigori, but it is a kind of nigori because it is unfiltered. So that's called muroka. So and then this is not too sweet, but it is lively. So it's really fun when you're drinking. It's different from like the pasteurized sake. It's more stable. Pasteurized sake is stable, and usually so unpasteurized sake. So a lot of people say you should drink within like 6 months to a year, but it really depends on you. So how you
Yes,
how
it
you
could
like
go
it.
within 3 days.
Yeah.
I know it never lasts that long for
It
me.
never lasts
so
that right.
I know all those limits are kind of theoretical.
Yeah. But whatever you have, you enjoy your moment with a loved one and your day, and that's all matters, right?
Yes.
Yeah. So I'm trying the warmed up namazake, by the way.
Oh yeah, try it.
Yeah.
I will say that it's pretty interesting. I mean, the acidity does come out more, and it does appear like brighter, but the flavors don't go out of balance. It's a wonderful sake as a warm sake. So I'm impressed.
I'm going to have to search out some namazake. I must try that.
Right. Yeah.
You can come to San Francisco. We can send
anytime,
it.
yeah.
We can give it to you for free.
Yeah, the tricky thing too, Simon, is that even sakes that are labeled as nama sometimes are not fully unpasteurized. So it's a little tricky to find true nama. If you have someone you can ask, like at the store or whatever, is this really nama, or is this nama chozo or namazume, which basically mean once pasteurized. In the brewing process, you'd usually pasteurize twice, and they have things like namazume and namachozo, which are like once pasteurized. So it's not true nama, if you ask me. It's not the same.
Yeah, 59 Takachiyo is nama. It's unpasteurized.
True,
so
yeah.
if that 59 Takachiyo is in the outside of fridge and not storing in the cold storage, so that's no. So so that's how you can distinguish if because some people has different opinion, or some people doesn't have that kind of the idea. So it just you just need to.
So it would turn bad. It would
turn bad. Yes, it will turn
Yeah,
bad.
it kind of gets a little bit cloudier, maybe, and it'll
Kind of
get some
plasticky
funky
taste.
flavor.
Yeah.
Funky, almost cheesy aroma or something like that. But some, again, it's a source of some maybe debate. Because some people like the
funky
sort of more
cheesy
developed flavors. Some people like cheese. Just
Cheesy
not
sake.
in my sake. Not in my sake.
Yeah.
You heard it here first.
Yeah. So that's why when I ship it in California and this unpasteurized sake, I think you notice and thought, like when I ship it to you, I put like one or two ice pack just in case that it doesn't go as bad. So
and in good cardboard, and you basically want to keep it cold or out of the light, and that's going to help maintain its stability. You got to think that in before we had refrigeration, they still did have unpasteurized sakes. They still did have, but it's refrigeration kind of helped matters along, like in terms of keeping things the way that they were right from the brewery, which is kind of the ideal thing, I think. I mean, after that, it's interesting. Once a sake gets to you and you're the consumer, you can and you should feel like you can do whatever you want to do with that sake. If you want to leave it for a year and enjoy it, then great. If you want to warm it up, great. But I think that ideally you want it to be kind of like what the brewery produced and have it represented. I saw a question on the chat, by the way, about aged sake, or I think it was about some sake that was dark in color, and it was clearly a koshu that they were talking about. So I'm going to read that.
Even I also have a different. This is a Tsuchida sake brewery. So this is a Kimoto method, which is the traditional. This is a quite different method, and then I'm not going to go into the detail because it's going to take like forever. But so this this is actually it's a kind of vintage. It's not kosher, but it's like 3 years. But it's really good, like really well aged, because the you said that there's a step to create sake after we got mash before to get the good mash before getting the sake. So there's a 3-step to get to add the water and then koji and stuff. So this when they add the water, the third time they put some nihonshu, I mean the Japanese sake in it. Yeah. So it's like a close to the like different kijoshu, which the sweet sake is. Yeah, it's a kind of same process, but so that's why they aged. So when it's aged really well compared to the normal Junmai pure sake. So this is a vintage sake. So if you have these, and it's perfect with some meat, perfect with a creamy dish. It's just fun.
I think it's great.
Right, I've got a good question from the J Vlog here in Japan. He's saying, if you guys were to choose one sake as your daily driver that you would have every day, which would you choose? And if you wanted to entertain guests, special guests, which would you choose? Thinking now. I like all of them.
Yeah, I actually.
Different times, different things.
Because in the morning, like when I'm doing breakfast yoga, sake. Breakfast sake. Like when I'm doing yoga,
breakfast on your cereal. Yes.
I love these 59 Takachiyo. It's lively, fresh, and it's just if you go outside with the sunlight, it's so beautiful with the zen. So it's good. But then in the night, when I want to have some like heavy dinner sake, and then I go with Kimoto or Katafune. But if I go to like some Japanese food, I will go with this Otokoyama. That's Nechi Otokoyama. This is also a beautiful Yamahai. This is a Yamahai sake, which is this is a champion for IWC and back in 2017. So it's really hard to decide.
You have them written down for each part of the day.
If I have to marry with somebody.
How about you, Todd? How about you? Do you have something you sort of like you just grab and chug and then one that you sort of say, I'm keeping this specially for guests?
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, I tend to like really nice dry sake. So, one brand or one sake that people might be familiar with is called Shirakabe Gura. And Shirakabe Gura is, I think it's in Kyoto. It's like a small brewery that's, related or a sister sake to Takara. And it's just a beautiful dry sake that's kind of like clean and inexpensive. So I'd say that for everyday drinking, I love like sake from Tohoku, Akita, on the drier side typically. And things like Honjoyo or Junmai, because those can be kind of inexpensive. Sake in California does get kind of expensive, unfortunately. It has to go through many steps to get imported. And then, the sake breweries in California, the ones that are the bigger ones that have inexpensive sakes, it's really kind of mixed what you can get. There are some good ones, but, in general, if you ask me, like, everyday drinking sake, something like Shirakabe Gura or Tohoku Akita sake that's dry, that would be my everyday drinking. I also love things like Yamahai, which are a little bit more on the savory side, and Kimoto, a little bit more on the savory side. If you really want to impress somebody and you're, on a date, or you want to impress your father-in-law or something, you can't go wrong with Junmai Daiginjo, and getting a Daiginjo sake, because those are the best, the highest quality rice. They tend to be the most expensive.
This is Junmai Daiginjo.
Tonoike bo is like, a beautiful Junmai Daiginjo, very kind of aromatic and will be, very impressive. I think that's the thing is if you either you didn't know anything about sake, but you tried that Tonoike bo, you would be like, wow, this is something completely different from that like hot sake or, it would just
Yes.
impress anyone.
Yeah.
So
Coco is saying that her friends who are not familiar with the sake that like it, they tend to like ginjo because it's light, crisp, and a good aroma. Yeah.
yeah, I tell people if you just remember one word with sake, it would be ginjo. And ginjo, you know, and its related term daiginjo will get you better sake usually. So if you see, you know, on a menu like, oh, a bunch of sakes you don't know anything about, you see ginjo or a daiginjo, well, it's probably going to be lighter, cleaner flavor and probably better quality. So
Yes, there's not that much in Germany as message just saying Junmai Daiginjo, €690 a bottle, which is about $800.
that's crazy.
That's crazy.
Crazy.
You should come here. You should come here.
Yeah.
And
But what about sake
Vids of
contour?
your
My
mom
friend,
has said yoga sake, lunch sake, nap sake, sake for when you drink sake. Like that.
Pre-game
Very good.
sake.
Very good.
Yep.
Well said.
I love taking sake to parties and especially like it comes in large bottles too. You can always bring a 1.8 liter bottle and it's like a magnum. It's always good to show up to a party with a magnum of sake. Everyone appreciates that.
So that's, I mean, I was in Tokyo and with my couple of my friends and we went to so my Japanese friend, he took us to a bar and we had sake and the waitress came with this huge bottle. Huge. It's like it's like, all right, you know, it is, you know, she had to sort of lift it up like with both arms to pour it.
Oh, you know,
And it was in a masu, and it, with the glass in the masu, and she poured it, and it spilled
nice.
over, and I had to lift it up, and
Yeah. Just showing the generosity. Yeah.
yeah.
Exactly. Was there a question, by the way, about I know one sake shop in Europe, and it's in Berlin. So I have a friend who has a sake shop called Sake Contour. I'm not sure how to pronounce it, but it's got to be great. So check them.
Sake contour. Okay, if everybody Google that. Yeah, if not that much. I mean, not that
I'm
not that far from Berlin. I don't know. It's in Germany,
EU, right? Everything should be.
I don't know. I mean, in Europe, I went to a nearby village to get my Edo Genroku. I was quite surprised that this place existed. It's only existed recently, but luckily for me. And all the other stuff I got from an Asian supermarket in nearby city. They had Tokubetsu as well and Futsushu.
Nice.
So it was quite impressive.
Very nice.
Berlin has Californian prices, says not that much. All right.
That's a shame.
I have two more in the fridge. I can't remember what they are. I'm going to go and have a look, and then we shall perhaps round up the show with the last bottle or two.
Okay, last bottle. Okay. All right. Oh, it's hard to find. It's hard to pick. Let me see. Maybe I'll just go with the Kimoto. Which one are you gonna go, Todd?
I think I'm gonna try the Katafune Junmai Ginjo since you said it's kind of unusual and a little bit sweet.
Yes, the Katafune 13. So I only carry one last bottle right now because and now I'm trying to import it. Yeah, let me try the K, initial K, because this is sweet too, and this is a Kimoto method, and this is the vintage. So this, and then this Tsuchida Brewery, they have a really fun concept. It is they use the 90 they don't mill much.
Yeah, exactly.
So it's like
10% milled. It's 90%.
Yeah,
right.
And then they like a natural wine. They like to communicate with nature. So so every single year they're different because the mold koji they use, it is coming from it is living in their kura.
Brewery. Yeah.
So they have some certain dance or something like that it just pour down into the tank. So they wait it until they pour in that tank. So let's drink.
I'll just quick hello to another Californian, Cobrat from not too far from where you guys are.
Oh, thank you so much. Thank you.
Now I have got. This one was a free sample I got when I bought the Edo Genroku, and this one.
Is this 300 ml?
This one is 180 milliliter, and this one is 300. So this one is a Dasai 45, which is so it's milled 45, and I think it's a Daiginjo.
Daiginjo.
Yeah. Actually, Dasai only makes Junmai Daiginjo.
Yeah, it's a Junmai Daiginjo, and this one is Ginjo Hiyoshibari. I'm not quite sure what that means. It's dry. This one's a dry one, and the Daiginjo will be sort of not so dry, I should imagine. Now, which should I go for?
Let's finish the Daiginjo.
Junmai Daiginjo?
Try them all. Who cares? Let's go.
Go for it.
I'm going for Kanishi Silver. Kanishi Brewery from Hyogo. Itami in Hyogo.
Yep.
It's the oldest brewery.
Yeah, Hyogo is kind of like the biggest area for sake brewing. It's maybe like the Napa Valley, or I don't know what. It's just the biggest one. Like that's so many great breweries, big breweries, even some small breweries. But yeah, Hyogo is like, and they have a reputation for kind of like more sturdy, more hearty sake, or more like clean but like solid. Beautiful sake from Hyogo.
Kanpai.
So this is a Kanishi Silver.
Many people know Kobe, and that's
Kobe.
Oh, that's quite different. You can tell that it's sake. It has the I now know sake taste, but it's not Daiginjo taste.
I'm gonna go with the honey. This one.
It's kind of
the honey.
Okay.
Acidy and light.
Initial okay.
Well, I'm glad I chose this slightly sweet sake, since the sushi that I have has like kind of that spicy tobiko, the little flying fish roe, but the little spicy ones. And I always feel like, that's a great flavor combination, is spicy food and like slightly sweeter sake. Sweet with heat. It's just a great pairing.
Not that much is asking. He has a Gasan no Yuki from Gasan Shuzo, and I wonder if you or Meg have ever know it or tried it. It's from Yamagata. Junmai Genjo.
Yeah. I was going to say, Gasan Ryu. Yeah.
And do you know it?
Yeah. And Yamagata is kind of famous in my mind for maybe like a fruit forward style, like clean. That area in Tohoku, Niigata, Yamagata, Akita, they have just great rice and great water. And that's the fundamental thing if you want to make great sake. So Yamagata sakes to me are like a little bit more fruit forward and very expressive, and a little bit soft, but just clean and pure. And Gasan Ryu I thought was like one of the better values for Daiginjo sakes. Just really great way to introduce yourself to sake. It's very very likable sake.
Yes, this is quite nice. This is not heavy at all.
I actually tried with initial K, Kimoto, with celery and honey.
Celery and honey?
Yeah, celery and honey. It's fun. It's really good. Yeah.
Yeah.
Cobrat has bought some sparkling sake. She's not yet tried it. So Coco is asking her which one she got.
So there's one now called Mio, which I always recommend. And Mio has become very, very popular. It's actually from Takara Shuzo also. And if you see Mio out there, it's very good. To me, it's like got those lighter bubbles. Sparkling sake can really vary a lot because there's not a lot of tradition really in it, and it's hard to do. So you get some sakes that are just carbonated, and some sakes that are kind of sweet, have some nigori elements to them, but they maybe have more funky flavors. So you gotta try the ones to see which one you'll like. It's not like if you have in your mind champagne, or if you have in your mind like prosecco, well, kind of get that out of your mind, because it's not really going to taste like that. But Mio to me is really likable because it's slightly sweet and good effervescence, but not really big bubbles, and pretty clean, not so funky. Try it. There's other ones out there. There's a lot out there now. So
Yeah,
well, I must say that the one I tried was very pleasant. Yes, I could drink that straight from the bottle.
nice. Yeah.
I'm going to go for my last one, my Dasai 45.
Great. I'm gonna go.
Yeah, Dasai.
I'm gonna go. So, did you try, Todd? Did you try this Katafune 13?
Yeah, this is the one.
No, I have
Let me
to do
see.
this first to open it.
Which one?
Yeah, the Katafune 13.
Uh-huh.
Yeah, that is nice. It definitely has.
Yeah, it is
Pretty
minus
sweet
50. Yeah,
experience.
yeah. Mr. Takeda was telling me that it took him 3 years to figure out the balance of acidity and the sweetness. He just told us that he really want to bring out the rice's umami, and he researched it and he tried experience. That's the ultimate, and it's really difficult to get in Japan as well. It's in Japan. It's called hanafubuki. And then I think they have some featured sweet, like the cupcake with
Okay.
sake.
Okay.
Yeah, this sake is interesting.
It's great. It's great. Everything
it's
from Katafune is great.
Yeah.
Very interesting.
It's actually it's fun because when I tried Katafune 13 was a lemon based salad. It went very well because all the sake I tried was a lemon based sauce. It never goes well. But then the Katafune 13 is the only one it went. So yeah, it's fun.
Yeah,
Did you
great.
pour the grass?
Unusual. Yeah.
This is the Dasai 45.
Okay.
All right.
Kanpai.
Kanpai.
Bye. Well, that's
Yeah,
quite
that
different.
Dasai, Simon, is very popular nowadays. That's like, I'd say in the last 10 years or so, Dasai is like one of the big success stories in Japanese sake.
Yeah.
Now you have to understand that like Japanese sake is kind of an industry that's been contracting over the last 30 years or so. I mean, there's just a lot of diverse amount of stuff out there. And as a result, sake kind of went down in terms of the amount of sales. The older generation didn't necessarily pass on the same taste to the younger generation, but things like Dasai, I think, where they really realized that a focus on premium sakes, everything is Junmai Daiginjo, really getting kind of a clean aromatic style, and also a focus on export, and making their products available in the US and in Europe, and really getting people excited about their product kind of helped them in the domestic market as well. So it became popular overseas, and then as a result, it became popular domestically. So
that's
really interesting
something
story.
I was going to ask about. I mean, that, for example, the reverse. I mean, there's a lot of now, as you say, sake breweries in California. And you guys, I mean, particularly you, Meg, you import stuff from Japan. And
Well,
Japan
actually, I'm
markets
not. I didn't.
No.
I'm just a retailer, so I have connection with the importer. So
I see. But it's coming from Japan, from
Yes,
the original
yes.
source. But my
Exactly,
question
yeah.
is, does it ever go back the other way? Does Japan sort of no, there's no
Never.
coals to Newcastle? No, okay.
Never.
No.
And part of it is that sort of for one thing, rice is very protected in Japan. You can't import any rice to Japan, and it's a very protected industry. And I think that sake is just one of those, as by extension. I remember going to Takata Brewery in Berkeley, and it's related to Takata Shuzo in Kyoto, and they were very proud of the fact that they send their sake from Berkeley everywhere in the world except for Japan. Except.
Oh, I've got to thank you Todd from Not That Much. He's just placed an order with Kantor in Berlin, and he now has to renegotiate his salary.
Well, I hope that works out for you. You got your priorities straight, though. Just ask for a raise.
It's quite different. It's very quite fruity, actually. That dasai.
Yeah, it's very aromatic, and the thing they do is really they've almost cornered the market on the YamanaNishiki rice. They just buy up all of the YamanaNishiki rice and then they mill it to Daiginjo level. But everything's just very controlled and scientific. They built this fancy new brewery in Yamaguchi, and it's a great stuff.
Yamaguchi. Oh, yes. One of my good friends lives there. I've been to Yamaguchi.
Oh,
yes.
Cool.
I've been to Yamaguchi City and Hofu.
I have never been.
Hofu. Okay. So that's at the
it's the south. It's sort of
south,
like if you go right, you go to Hiroshima, and if you go left, you end up in Kyushu.
Yeah. Yes. Exactly. Yeah. There's a lot of famous sashimi and fish.
I only remember Yamaguchi for okonomiyaki. I had my first okonomiyaki in Yamaguchi.
That's good.
Actually, it's famous for blowfish. It's in Kyushu, the area.
Fugu.
Fugu.
Ah.
Nice.
Well, I've finished I've finished one glass of each. I've now got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 bottles to last me.
Yay!
And I've got a huge bar of chocolate still, and I've got olives, and I've got a big block of cheese. So I'm set up for the weekend.
Wonderful. This has been great.
Yeah, yes. This is wonderful.
Yeah.
So
learned a lot.
I'm very, very glad. I'm very, very grateful that you joined the show.
No, thank you so much.
And I'm amazed that we're still sat upright. We didn't talk much about Hanami, but we had a great party.
Well, at least we have plastic flowers.
I went out and bought this morning, especially plastic. I phoned up a garden centre. I said, "Have you got plastic cherry blossoms?" He said, "Yes, we have." Right. So I drove there especially to get that.
Well, that's beautiful. I'm looking at this, and this is like a Hanami, like a viewing party. This is great.
It's actually right now. Yeah. Hanami is just the purpose of having fun with loved one and people, friends, and the season, the nature, and everything.
We don't have to tidy up. Well, we do have to tidy up.
Yeah. I have 20 bottles over here. Yeah.
Well, it's been a great pleasure, and I could put all this back in the fridge. But I might have a bit more of that Edo Genroku after I've tidied all this back up. But
beautiful.
You're very welcome to come on the show again. Anytime.
We'll have to.
And
thank you, Simon.
Thank you for joining me.
Yeah, and thank you, Meg.
No, thank you, Todd and Simon, and thank you everybody in the audience.
Around the world.
Around the world.
I'm glad to talk to everyone around the world.
Awesome. Thank you.
Please
so much.
like, share, and subscribe, and all that business. Yes.
That's right.
Please. I can't wait to see some more from you, Simon. So.
Okay, well, next week on the Simon Nochanoma channel, it's a mystery. I
like mystery.
I have nothing planned. So I may do an out and about if I can get my son to be my comment reader again, or I may be indoors recovering.
Drinking too much sake.
Thank you all for joining, and see you all again next week on the Simon Nochanoma show. It's goodbye from me, and it's goodbye from Meg, and goodbye from Todd. Bye, everybody.
Bye. Cheers.
Thank you.
Bye.
Cheers.
Have a good one.